Go ahead and grab a seat. How you doing? Hi, how you doing?
Hey there.
How are you?
I'm Sonia.
Okay.
Nice to meet you. Anan, are you Indian? Me too. Where from? Me too. Yeah, so you want in Health Extension?
Welcome everybody. Go ahead and grab a seat wherever you like. Front row is always a good option. All right, no. Come on in, everybody.
I'm pretty close. So. Let me check my phone.
That's me, all right.
Sit up here.
Feel supported. Yeah. And that's why you're here. Yeah, that's not happening. Yeah, I'm excited. It's been a while. Do you have like a vision board of your goal? Okay.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone. How are we? Great. Pretty okay? Pretty all right? Okay. Well, sorry for the little bit of a delay getting in here. We're as you can tell, we're doing some serious technical things over here. We're streaming it live. We're filming it. So there's some technical difficulties. In fact, today was a day of technical difficulties for me. Anybody ever had those days where just none of your technology works? It was really fun. I had a great time with it. I just, keep my head up, chin up. It worked though. It all worked. Is everybody in the room? Yes? Okay, great. So welcome everybody. Welcome to the PSI Basic Seminar presentation. My name is Carson Johns. I just want to welcome you here tonight. Thank you for taking the time out of your night to be here, and your day, and the traffic that you had to get through, and the kids that you had to deal with, and maybe the babysitter that you had to work with to make sure that you could be here. So I acknowledge you for doing that. Does anybody have any idea why they're here?
To support Tashi.
To support Tashi. Okay. But really though, like those of you who have never done the basic seminar, never heard of the basic seminar, does anybody have any idea like what this is all about tonight? A little bit, Albert?
Nothing about it.
Not much. Okay, so did anybody get the ring, ring, ring? Hey, what are you doing Thursday night? You got plans? Oh no, let's go get a drink. Let's go eat dinner. There's this great hotel down by the airport. They've got good wine deals. Let's go. And then all of a sudden you get to the airport hotel here, and you're like, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, there's some sort of a presentation over here. You want to come check this thing out? Anybody get that? No. They told you at least that you were coming to some sort of a presentation. You got coerced here, Dan?
No, you saying don't raise your hand, so immediately I did.
That's the way I am. Right on. Well, I want to introduce myself first. My name is Carson Johns, and I'm the area director for PSI Seminars here in San Francisco. And what that means is that I do presentations like this all the time on a class called the Basic Seminar, which is what you're going to hear about tonight. I did the Basic Seminar in 1998. I've worked with this company for about 12 years. So I'm really well versed in what we do and what our company is all about. And tonight is going to be about a 45-minute presentation about that. And then at the end of that presentation, if you decide that you want to actually go to the class, you can register for the class. It's pretty simple. So tonight's an introductory seminar. You'll learn some things tonight. My suggestion, hold on one second. Someone's side talking around here. It was my video screen that was talking to me. So tonight's going to be a presentation about that class. So if you haven't heard anything about the class at all, and they just said, some of your friends just said, you guys got to check it out, you just got to come with me, have an open mind tonight. There's a lot to be learned, there's lots to be gained as a result of this evening. I know when I did my basic seminar, I had no idea what this was all about. My sister came storming into my apartment at the time. She had just done the class, and she said, "Oh my God! Everybody in our family's doing this. Everyone I know is doing this. You have to do the basic seminar. It's the most amazing." And I, looked at her kind of like she had three heads, and I was like, "What are you talking about? I don't do seminars." Right? I was a 19-year-old college student. I was paying my own way through college. I was living on my own. I was doing, in my mind, pretty well. I was on a good track in my life. I had great friends. I lived by the beach. It was a pretty great life that I had made for myself at 19. And my sister was very adamant that I attend this course. And so I went to a presentation like this. And similar to tonight, there was a really good-looking, well-spoken, intelligent, inspirational, humble speaker. And I listened. I listened just enough to hear that there was an opportunity for me, and that maybe there was more out there in life than what I knew. And I knew I didn't know everything. I still don't know everything. I don't think we ever know anything. In fact, I think when we think we know everything is when we really need to go back to the drawing board. So what I was open to was change. I was open to growth. I was open to having a life that I really dreamed of. I was doing good, yet I knew that there was going to be challenges and obstacles coming my way in my life, getting out of college, finding work, getting a job, and all that kind of stuff. So I said, yeah, for sure, I'll take it up. So I sat in the basic seminar for 3 days and had a complete transformation in what I didn't even know was possible. The basic seminar for me opened up doors and windows, opened up ideas and thought processes and perspectives and mindsets that I didn't even know were available. One of the things that happens in the basic seminar is that you bring the unknown to the known, right? Psi, PSI, I don't know if you have it up on the wall. PSI is the Greek letter, stands is the unknown factor, the Greek alphabet. The psi symbol stands for the unknown factor. And what I firmly believe is that Psi seminars, what we do in our classes, it brings the unknown to the known. It brings the what I don't know to the now I know and I can do something about it. Because until you know, you can't really do anything about it. Most of us are on automatic pilot. How many know that you are on automatic pilot today? By a show of hands, everybody's, yeah. By the way, this is a participatory event. Okay. Did they tell you that? They didn't tell you that. Well, I'll tell you now, it's a participatory event, so feel free. But I much prefer working with people in interaction versus just talking at you. Again, I don't know all the answers, I don't have all the answers, and we can learn a lot through working with each other. So, again, how many of you are on automatic pilot today? Right? And you go, what do I mean by that? Okay, I don't mean that you drove your car on cruise control. What I mean is that we as human beings all have an automatic pilot. We go. We do things automatically. We do things without thinking about it. We have reactions and triggers and buttons that get pushed. We have communication styles that we're just used to. We have ways of looking at the world that are standard for us. We've done them so many times, we don't even have to think about it anymore. How many of you drive a car? Okay, do you remember the first time you drove a car? I remember vividly the first time I drove a car. It was my sister's 1982 Toyota Celica. It was a hatchback. It was a stick shift. And when I first got in the car, I looked down and there was 3 pedals and I had 2 legs. That was number 1. Right? There was a stick shift over here. There was a steering wheel. There was these gears, and it was an interesting moment for me because at that time in my life, I had seen people drive cars. Well, it seems like everyone else is doing it okay for the most part. I mean, yes, there's accidents, but I had never been in one. My parents were pretty good drivers. My brother was a pretty good driver. Everyone was doing it. So, of course, it's possible I can do that. Right? I had even read a book about how to drive a car. Right? I had to take my driver's ed class. I took a class about how to drive a car. I had to pass a test about how to drive a car before I even drove a car. Right? So how many of you know that you've read all the books, taken all the classes, done all those things in life out there about how to do something, yet when you actually go to do it, it's a completely different story. So the same goes for me when I stepped in the car for the first time, it was a completely different story. I had to figure out how to do it. I had to be completely aware. I had to be completely focused. I had to be completely conscious about what I was doing to get from point A to point B safely. Right? And so then I stalled the car a couple times, but I got the hang of it, and I started getting pretty good at it. I started becoming consciously competent about it. Right? I'm like, I'm pretty good. I can do this. I can listen to the radio. I can talk to a friend. I can drive with one hand. I can look in my mirror, and I don't have to freak out. And then 10, 15, 20 years down the road, does anybody, like similar experience, right? So you learn how to drive a car, and then you got good at it, and now what are we doing when we're driving our cars? Right, what are we doing? Are there any police officers in the room? You have to say. Right, we're on the phone. Right, we're listening, changing the radio, we're playing with the navigation. Right, we're thinking about what just happened at work. We're thinking about what's going to happen when I get home. What are we going to cook for dinner? How am I going to pay that bill? What am I going to do with my life? We have about 1,000 things happening when we're driving the car. So the question is, who's driving the car? Who's driving the car? Your subconscious is driving the car. You become so good at it that you don't even have to think about it anymore. How many of you have ever gotten home and you got in your parking spot and you looked up and you're like, how did I get here? Did that happen?
Yes, it happened to me all the time. I worked at Intel for 27 years, and I was commuting from Fairfield to San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to sleep. I didn't remember passing some places that I drove through.
Yep.
I know exactly what you said.
So have you ever done that for like a certain job or whatever, and then all of a sudden you quit the job and you get in the car in the morning, you find yourself 20 miles down the road in the wrong direction? So this is a perfect example. So how many of you ever wound up in a place in your life and you looked up and you said, oh, how did I get here? Right, this is what, I didn't plan this 20 years ago when I got married. I didn't plan this 20 years ago when I finished school. My life, I thought my life was going to be this or this and this, yet it's not necessarily. I'm not saying that you're bad, that probably is really good. You live in a great area, you have great friends, you have good families, you have a successful life, you have success in your life, yes? Yes. However, is it what you thought it was going to be? Probably not. And there are times in our lives where we get up and we're like, wait a second, how did I get here? And so the answer to that is that somebody else was driving the car. Your subconscious was driving the car, right? You get up and you drive 20 miles down the road before you even realize you're driving that way. It's automatic pilot. So if we do that when we drive something like a car, something as sort of dangerous as going 80 miles an hour, 65 miles an hour down a freeway in a 2,000-pound vehicle, where else do we do it? We do it everywhere. We have an automatic pilot running our lives. But most of us don't take a time out of our lives to stop and say, wait a second, where's the GPS taking me? Right? Human beings have stages of learning that are exactly the same. It doesn't matter where you're from, it doesn't matter your background, it doesn't matter your culture, it doesn't matter your socioeconomic status, it doesn't matter who your parents are. We do the same stages of learning to get to do everything. So the same stages of learning when I go to drive a car was the same stages of learning that I learned how to be in a relationship with another human being. The same stages of learning about how do I make money, how do I think about things, what's my perspective in general. A lot of what we're talking about here is our perspective. We learned our perspective based on experiences through our lives. And our perspective changes the course of our path and what we really want in our life. So you guys want to do a little exercise with me? Sure. Okay, go stand up out of your chair, stand up out of your chairs. And I want you to look up at the ceiling and then find a spot on the ceiling and then point to that spot on the ceiling. Okay? Now keep looking at the spot and then make a clockwise circle with your finger around that spot. And keep making that circle. And just keep looking up. And then keep looking up. And as you look up, keep making the circle, but move your hand down below your chin while still making the clockwise circle. It's not hard. It's not that hard. It's not like rubbing your belly and patting your head. Okay, now look down at your finger and tell me which way it's going.
Other way.
It's going counterclockwise.
I noticed and it does.
It does.
No, I noticed.
Okay, sit down real quick.
Yes, I noticed.
So watch my finger. Okay, I'm going clockwise around this circle. Around this point. I'm going clockwise, I'm going clockwise, I'm going clockwise, I'm going clockwise, I'm going clockwise. But what happens when I look at it this way?
It changed.
It didn't change.
Perception.
My perception changed. That's a point of view. So the question is, how are you looking at things? The way that you're looking at things changes everything. Because your perception of yourself, of the world, and other people becomes your reality. But it may not be true. So what we're working on in the basic seminar is what am I looking at? What is my perception of my life, of the world, of other people? What's my thought process? What are my patterns? What are the things that I'm doing that's working? What are the things that I'm doing that's not working? So that you can get on the track that you want to get on. And again, not that you're not on a great track. But there are things that we do in our life that work, and there are things that we do in our life that don't work. But not always do we understand, not always are we aware of the things that aren't working. What we work with in the basic seminar isn't, it's not rocket science. It's not brain surgery. You know, it's not the most advanced information that you've ever heard. In fact, a lot of it's really common sense. But what I find in the world, and doing this 10, 15 years, and I work with site seminars, I work with other companies, I've been working with people for a long time all over the world. What I find is that common sense is not always common practice. Because everybody, common sense says, you know, in order to, you know, have a great retirement and, you know, have the money I want is I need to put 30% away, I need to invest in this. And there's a lot of common sense tools around how to manage your money, right? But is it common practice? It's because of a mindset, because of a thought process. Common sense says, you know, in order to have a great relationship, you know, with a significant other, I should be kind and compassionate and trustworthy and open and communicative and honest and passionate and romantic. Yet we go home from work and we scream at our partner for not putting the dishes away the right way. Right? Or we do the things that we know we're not supposed to. So why do we do that? It doesn't make sense. It's because we're on automatic pilot. And we've been, throughout our lives, we've sort of programmed ourselves, we've wired ourselves, we've plugged in the GPS to act a certain way. And it's in alignment with what we believe. Our actions are in alignment with our perception of the world. So the basic seminar is a long introduction. The basic seminar is a 3-day class that you're going to take time out of life to re-inspect and re-look at, what do I really, really want? And why don't I have it? Right? If it's a possibility on the planet, there's not a reason that you're not able to have it. There's just a thought process or a perception that's in the way of you having it. So I want to take a minute, and again, this is a participatory evening. So take just a minute and talk to your neighbor or somebody around you. And it's 2015, right? How many of you want to have the exact same year as 2014? Anybody? Okay, so you want some things different? You have some goals, you got some ideas, some things that you want to have in your life, yes? So talk about that for a minute. So 3 things you want different or better or more in 2015. We're already off to almost the half of the month, well, over half the month. So what do you want? What do you want to get done? What do you want to get started? What do you want to work on in the next 3 months of your life, just say, or the next 6 months or 9 months? What do you want to have happen in 2015? Ready, set, go. Oh, you just. All right, so just a couple more minutes, moments, I would say, a couple more moments. All right, so start to wrap that up with your neighbor. And when you're finished, just go ahead and stop talking and look up here. All right, give yourself a little round of applause. You know, it's funny. A lot of times we'll do acknowledgments in the basic seminar and site seminars, like give them a round of applause. Why not give them a round of applause? You know, we don't do that very often. Stop and say, hey, listen, when was the last time you actually talked to another human being, stranger or otherwise, about what I really want in life? What do I want this year? What do I want to have done? So often we talk about the opposite, what I don't want. Oh, well, the kids are just this, and, you know, my boss is just this. That's the conversation that we have on a regular basis in the world. Versus, what do you want? How can I support you? What do you want? How can I support you? And that's a conversation you'll have throughout the whole weekend in the basic seminar. Our class works with human beings, working with human beings. And so it's not about me or anybody else telling you what to do or how to live your life. I know that I don't know how to live your life. I am not a guru. I am not somebody who is all-knowing. I'm still working on my life and creating it the way that I want to be. Now, there's no finish line here as far as I'm concerned. It's about consistently taking a step forward and growing. So what are some of the things that you heard, or what are some of the things that that came out of your mouth? What do you want more? Different, better. What's 2015 look like for you?
Money. More money.
Money. How many of you want more money? Okay. Well, that's a good. So, the question is, how much money? A lot of money. Well, a lot for a 3-year-old is much different than a 30-year-old, right? So, what's a lot of money? What would be, you know, a number that you'd be like, yes, I made that happen this year? 6 figures? Okay. So 100,000 plus. Okay. I heard financial security. How many of you are looking for some financial security? Okay. There's no such thing. How many people in 2000 and 2007 were like, I am financially secure? I own 3 houses, I've got a 401k, and then that all sort of went away. Yeah.
2008, I lost everything.
Yeah, so did my parents. Yeah. So there is no such thing, right? But what we know is if we're committed to growth, if we're committed to expansion, if we're committed to moving forward, that the obstacles and the challenges that come our way aren't as devastating as maybe they could be. One of the things that I know about the class, the basic seminar, what we work with in site seminars, and what I guarantee you any graduate will tell you, is that when life happens, because it does, we're not able to control the future. We're not able to control our other people. We don't know what the weather's going to do tomorrow. We don't know who's going to be stopped in front of us in traffic. We're not able to dictate those things. However, when the things that come into your life happen, the tools, the awareness, the consciousness, the mindset that you'll get in the basic seminar will support you in getting through those a lot quicker, right? With a lot more support around you. Okay, so more money. What else do you want?
Better relationship.
Okay, better relationships just in general?
Just in general.
Or do you have a significant other?
No.
Okay, do you want one? Might as well. Yeah, a significant, not just any significant other, right? You're not just anyone off the street. You want a number 10. right? Like,
I set up for 8.
Alright, so number 10s are all around, okay, or 8s. 8s are the bottom. Okay, how many of you want better relationships? Okay, great. What else?
Health.
Health, better health. Like, you want to run a marathon, just want to be more, look good in a bathing suit. You want to, that's kind of, I don't really care about running. I just want to look good naked. That's all I really care. I like feeling good too. I'm not one of those people that needs to go out and improve myself in a marathon. Maybe a half marathon, okay, but 26 miles, not on my to-do list. All right, anyway, so better health. How many of you would like some better health? Okay, what else?
Travel.
I want to travel the world. Any place in particular? Spain?
Israel.
Africa. That's a large place. Fiji. Taj Mahal. South America. That's a large place too. We can go through all of it. Okay. Okay, so travel. What else?
A more balanced, positive life.
More balance. Okay. More time. All right. So
More time management, better time.
more liberty of time, because I'm not able to give you more time, nobody can. That's 24 hours. Okay, so I think this is the key for most anybody, and this encompasses all of it, is that we want more liberty. We want to be able to go where we want to go, do what we want to do, have what we want to have, and most importantly, be who we want to be. And that is what we work on in the basic seminar. And what you'll find, and what I find, is that this is pretty much universal. There's very few people on the planet that wouldn't take an extra $100,000 a year. There's very few, right? There's very few people that don't want to improve relationships. There's very few people that don't want to feel better. I mean, I don't care if you're, even the top athletes in the world want to be better, right? More balance and more liberty. So this is key, and this is exactly what we cover in the basic seminar. I can tell you that this is the curriculum. This is everything that we do in seminars. How many of you went to school for this? One person? Okay. A little bit. I'll tell you that Stanford right now, down the street, Stanford, has a few programs that teach some of the techniques and the tools, the ideas and the concepts that we teach in the basic seminar. Anybody know how much it is to go to Stanford in a year? It's like 60 grand for a year.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
43 $1.
Yeah. $60,000. And they don't even cover what we cover. Right? How many of you have any kind of level of education? High school, college, doctorate, master's, all of that stuff. Right? What I find is this. What we found is this, is that it doesn't matter how much knowledge and skills that you have. If you don't have the mindset behind it, it does not matter. Knowledge and skill set is about 20% of success, so to speak, however you want to do that. You can read all about having a great relationship. You can read all books on creating money, selling real estate. Right? If you don't have the mindset, it won't matter. But we don't get taught mindset. We don't learn mindset. We don't learn what is the thinking that drives the attitude that drives the behavior. And that's exactly what we focus on in the basic seminar. So we go right to it. Okay, the class, this is sort of the model that we use in our class of a human being in general, how we produce our results. Okay, so how many of you have kids? Okay, how many of you have ever seen a kid? Or how many of you were once a kid? Okay, how many of you are not going to raise your hand no matter what? So yeah, exactly. I want to hear the qualities or the attributes that all kids come into the world with. What are the qualities and attributes of little kids?
We're fearless.
All right, so I would challenge that in that I have a little niece, and give me a bullhorn and a Barney outfit, and I will scare her for sure. Okay, she can be scared. However, so fearless is not probably an actual thing as a human being goes. But are they courageous? Yeah. Okay, what else?
Willing to try anything.
Joyous.
Is that right? Courageous?
Yeah.
You don't have to be able to spell to do this job. They are open.
Strong-willed.
Okay, they're strong-willed.
They love unconditionally.
They're unconditional. So unconditional.
They're curious. Don't know the meaning of no. They're all
So they don't even hear no, right? So endless possibilities. Okay, okay, what else?
Clear and out of your way.
Honest. And then somebody said something?
I said, we'll tell you the truth about your weight.
They're gonna be 100% honest, no matter what you think about that. Yeah.
They're vulnerable.
Energetic.
joyful.
Risk takers.
They're lovable.
They love everyone.
They're innocent, not jaded. Joyful,
Playful.
unbiased.
Okay, unbiased, I believe that is open. Anything else that we missed? How about joyful? Persistent?
Stubborn.
Yeah, that's a good word too. I don't know. I mean, I think there's I think stubborn goes into like a varying degree of persistence. There's some kids that are way more stubborn than others. Strong-willed, yeah, that's a good way to put it. Okay, is this a list of all kids? No, you don't think every kid that comes into the planet has courage? Every kid that comes into the planet doesn't come in with a bunch of bias and opinions about things. They're coming strong-willed. They come in with how many of you, this is what I love about kids, little tiny babies will get what they want every time. In the right environment, so to say. So, there's a percentage of kids that are neglected, right, which is not what we're talking about. It's a sad thing. But if you have a family or somebody taking care of you, they get what they want every time. Why? Because they will scream until they get it. They don't give up. Like, my diaper needs to be changed. And I'm going to make it happen. I don't care how long it takes. They're unconditionally loving. So do kids come into the world like, I don't know, you go to that church, I go to this church. Right, you're this color, I'm that color, you're from this side of the town, I'm from that side of the town. My parents said this, your parents did that. You're a Republican, I'm a Democrat, Do they come in doing that? No, they don't. Okay? Are they curious? Any other kid in this show that doesn't ask why? They have endless possibilities. They're creative. Anything is possible for them. They want to be a veterinarian and a president and a police officer and a mommy and a daddy and a whatever. Okay? They're sincere and they're honest. They don't come into the world lying. We teach them how, or they learn how. Right? Through experience. They're persistent. If you went after a dream, like a kid goes after a cookie, right? Whatever it is you say you want. Like a kid at Toys R Us, Mom, I want this toy. It's my favorite toy. It's the best toy I've ever heard. I got this toy and wanted this toy my whole life. And then Mom goes, sorry, I can't afford it right now. And then, Dad, I want this toy. I need this toy. I wanted this toy my whole life. Please, can I have it? No, sorry, not right. Grandma, hey, lady. They don't want to get it. Do your kids have more energy than you do?
Yes.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't. In your body is enough energy to power this city. You have the same amount of energy as a child has. It's what do you do with it? What do you spend it on? What do you spend your time thinking about, stressed out, worried about, resentful about? right? Kids have this much energy because it's like, oh, Alex, that hurt. Okay, let's go. Right, and then they're gone. It's unconscious. They don't have to think about it anymore. Right, and then when they go to sleep, do they go to sleep? Yeah, they're out. Okay? Yeah. They're vulnerable. They're willing to be all the way out there. They don't really care what people think. Have you ever seen a kid on the dance floor at a wedding? And it's when a kid does it, it's like, oh, that's so cute. Right, but you see, Uncle Herb out there just, and you're like, oh God, Uncle Herb. So embarrassing. I can care. Uncle Herb's having a good time. They take risks, they're innocent, they're playful, they're joyful. Kids come into the world with this. They come into the world with what it takes to be a successful human being. They come into the world with what it takes to achieve what they want to achieve. Now, do some kids have different gifts, and every human has a different gift, and some people are born with different types of minds? Yeah, but the qualities and attributes that it takes to be a successful human being, we're born with. We're given them. So if you take a human being, you, the person in your seat, that's what I'm saying, is that you have all these qualities, you know that you do. But what happens is that we get born into the world, we have our parents, we have our life, we have our sisters, we have our brothers, we have our family, we have our religion, we have our culture, we have the world that we live in and we grow up in. And through our life, we go through experiences. And our experiences create our perception. What we call in the basic seminar is our thinking, or our programming. Right? We are all programmed to be a certain way in certain scenarios. We have that wired in us based on our experiences. Based on what mom and dad were like, based on what sister and brother were like, based on getting picked first or last on the soccer team. We have belief systems. So we talk about our thinking. The question is, what are you thinking? How many of you know that you talk to yourself? You just went, How many of you ever think about what you're thinking about? And then you ever think about, why am I thinking about what I'm thinking about? And then you go like, why didn't I even ask myself why I think about what I'm thinking about? And then you take another step back and you're like, I'm crazy. We have a conversation running us. We have a conversation running us around money, running us around time, running us around being a parent, running us around relationships, running us around everything. That's what we call our programming in the basic seminar. Most seminars that you'll go to will talk about your attitude and your behavior and how you can shift some of these things. No transformation occurs until transformation happens in the way that we see things, in the way that we view the world. This is where we go to in the basic seminar, is what's the thought process that stops me from being a risk taker? What's the thought process that keeps me closed? What's the thought process that love comes with conditions? What's the thought process that, you know what, I have all the answers, I figured it out. Right? Oh, I've heard this before. We stop asking why. We stop becoming a beginner. Why do we do that? Why do we stop asking why?
You don't care?
What?
You don't care?
We don't care. But that could be as a result of. We stop asking why because we're told to shut up. Right? Or if you ask why, you ask too many questions, you're the stupid one. Right? You're supposed to have the right answer in our society. Not having the right answer means you get an F. Right? Versus what are the answers that are out there? Why not keep asking why? Why not look and say, well, why not? Right? So there's thought processes and thinking that keep us from being fully these things in our life. That's what we work on in the basic seminar, because these thought processes also dictate the way that we feel. If I have a program that, you can't trust anybody, how do I feel on a first date? Guarded, right? Concerned, worried. If I have a thought process that, that you can only do so much with the time you have, there's only so much money in the world, like, take what you can get, then it makes sense that I would have just this kind of a job, or 9 to 5, or whatever. Right? Our thought processes match our results. So our attitude drives our behavior drives our results. Does this make sense for everybody? This is not it's not rocket science. It's a simple model, but it's not one that we really dive into very often. So in the basic seminar, that's what we dive into. Through a series of different exercises, different like group work, group activities, games, you'll play, you'll have fun. But what you'll discover through the class is what's been driving the car. And you'll be amazed at what you see. There's so many giant ahas and moments of like, oh my God, no wonder this has been happening in my life for the last 30 years. All the pieces of the puzzle start to come into play, or start to come into place. In 3 days. It's one of the most powerful educational models I've ever seen in my entire life. Because it's not an educational model where somebody tells you what to do or how to do your life. It's not an educational model where you have to have the right answer. You don't have to have the right answer. This is a process, a growth process around how can I be better? If this is what I've gotten being this way, thinking this way, feeling this way, and I say I want this, what's the gap? What's in between what I say I want and what I have? That gap isn't that. For many years, like there's just no possible way. But you'd be surprised at how small that gap is. Because all it is a shift in thinking. And then everything else lines up with that. So the basic seminar is the first of 3 classes that we offer inside seminars. We have an advanced course, which is a 7-day course. It's held up on our ranch. We actually have one going on right now. Many of the people in the room have been to that course. So our basic seminar is an awareness course. It brings this to the conscious level of mind. What I don't know to what I know. So that you can do something about it. That's the basic seminar. And then it gives you tools, techniques, on all sorts of things, which I'll go over in a second. I've got about 10 more minutes. All sorts of things in life. And then our advanced courses are about how do I bust through and shift the thinking. So 7 days of shifting my thinking in a moment. It's a powerful 7 days. People from all over the world come to our ranch up in High Valley, up in Clear Lake Oaks. It's an incredible place to be. It's like a retreat style thing. And then we have a men's and a women's leadership seminar. So those of you who only go to one of those. Okay, and that's about vision and purpose and legacy. What's my plan? What's my purpose on the planet? Big classes, big ideas. And it starts at the basic seminar. You'll see back here is our definition. It says the PSI basic seminar. Again, psi is, in the Greek letter of the alphabet, stands for the unknown factor. We've also, the acronym people synergistically involved was what we used 40 years ago. Our company's been around for a long time. People synergistically involved, Personal Success Institute. I don't really care what you use, what the words are that you use. You get the picture. My personal thing is, it really is about uncovering the unknown, and the knowing of which will make all the difference. Have you ever had that moment in your life where all of a sudden something that's completely out of your consciousness, a realm of reality, just goes, and everything in your life changes? You have a benchmark moment, right? So like, you're pregnant, all of a sudden there's a kid there, and everything changes, right? Or you're in a relationship, whatever, and then all of a sudden that person isn't there anymore, and then everything changes. Somebody dies, you lose somebody, something shifts majorly in your life, and it's benchmark moments. That's what happens in the basic seminar. For 99.9% of the people that go through the basic seminar, it's a benchmark moment. It's a moment where you look back and go, things will be different. Now, that being said, it's not magic fairy dust. There's no sprinkle, go to 3-day class, and your life is perfect. Okay, if somebody tells you that, run the other way. And there's no such thing. If you've been doing your life for 20, 30, 40 years a certain way, with growth in there, I'm sure. It's not like you've been the same for 20 years. Though if the thought processes have been in place for 20 years, do you think 3 days is going to just completely shift everything? No, it's a major start. And 7 days of doing that is something that you don't go back from. I mean, it's definitely just ingrained. So the basic seminar is an educational course. I told you this before. Education comes from the Greek word "udeko," which means to draw forth from within. So we don't tell you what to do. We don't tell you how to live your life. I don't care where you're from, your background, your current philosophical beliefs, anything like that. They fit in the basic seminar. The basic seminar works because you're a human being. It works on all human beings because we have the same functions of our brains. Okay? It's a course where you challenge yourself. No one's going to make you do anything in the basic. No one's going to force you to do anything. But if you do the class, be willing to challenge yourself. Be willing to take the risk. Be willing to get outside what's comfortable for you. You explore, question, and discover your life. So again, this is about doing an exercise, looking into it, discovering, questioning it. Why is this happening? What do I want to have different? How can I shift? You'll do that with small groups. You'll do that with one other person. So it's a very interactive process through which you learn through other people. In the basic seminar, the format of the basic seminar is designed for intense learning, and not just intellectual learning, not just reading about, but actually jumping in the pool, so to speak. Right? This is how many of you, when you learn how to swim, you just read a book on it and then you just jumped in the deep end. Anybody do that? It's possible. I mean, some of us do some not so smart things. You have to get in there and you have to work with it. That's why the basic seminar is different than almost anything that's out there. Is that you're working with the tools, you're integrating it in the class. Okay, where you expand your personal and professional effectiveness. So again, you bring you to the party wherever you go. That's what it's about. It's about you bringing a different mindset to the skills and the knowledge that you already have. Right? You're probably really good at what you do, yet it can be this much better with a mindset that shifts. So our class works in 4 different areas of the human being, which we cover here. Okay, so wealth, relationships, health, spirituality and connectedness, liberty in general, balance and peace of mind. Did I write it up? I'm good. So we work with 4 sides of the human being. We have a spiritual side. In the basic seminar, we don't talk about any specific religion. Anybody can come to the basic seminar. That works for anybody. Doesn't matter what your religion is, or if you're atheist, or it doesn't matter. Am I clear? Everybody works in the basic seminar. Okay, what we talk about as far as spirituality is your connectedness to human beings, to something bigger than you, your purpose, your passion. How do I contribute to the world in general? We all have a piece of us that is connected to other people, that is connected to something bigger, whether it's just a thought process or an idea. But more so, we're here for a reason. Here's the deal. I don't really know if you're here for a reason. But what I do know is that human beings who are successful human beings believe that they're here for a reason. So whether or not you are or not, having the belief that you are supports you in your life. Okay? Physical side, so our health, our well-being, our stress management. There's a tool in the basic seminar. It's an exercise, something that you'll do, that is a 17-minute exercise. It relieves 90% of the stress out of your body, and it gives you the equivalent of 2 to 3 hours worth of sleep. So how many of you, by a show of hands, want better health? Okay, that 17-minute exercise is being used at Stanford with cancer recovery patients, or with cancer patients with heart attack recovery, stroke recovery. It is a rejuvenation system for your body and your mind that takes 17 minutes. It's a powerful exercise. So stress, physical health, behaviors, all sorts of things we'll cover on that side. We have an emotional side, which is where we talk about our attitude, the way we feel. How many of you know that you have current areas of your life that you have resentment? Like, I'm pissed off about this, I'm pissed off about this happened, right? We all have it. I don't care if you had any kind of negative feeling around the traffic, right? Or around something that happened 20 years ago, or yesterday, or whatever. Resentment in life causes us stress. It causes us to be out of alignment. We have a couple exercises in basic seminar that will support you in getting rid of resentment in your life quicker. Right? How do I be in relationships more effectively? What do the people in my life really want from me? Can you guys see this? What can I contribute to the people in my life? How do I communicate more effectively? How can I love more unconditionally? These are all things that we work with in the basic seminar. We're not going to tell you how. You're going to take a look at it for yourself. Okay? Why am I not in the relationship that I want? What happened in my last 20, 30 years of marriage that were like at this place versus where I thought we would be, or where I want to be? How can I shift it back to get there? In the basic seminar, especially couples that come into the class, I mean, it can be a little uncomfortable. But what happens as a result for couples who do this class together or separate is priceless. It's priceless. I have had people come in the basic seminar 3 weeks away from divorce papers, and 3 years ago, I redid their wedding vows after 2 years of doing these classes, of working on themselves. So this isn't just a 3-day class where that sounds nice. What we're talking about is your life, your real life that's important. The things that you say that you want that are important can get handled in a 3-day class. And then the other side would be the mental side. So this would be where your career is, your wealth, liberty, all that kind of stuff. So what happens here is that oftentimes in our lives, we have, if you were to rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 10, 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 10 being great, wonderful, perfect, couldn't get any better, to 0 being, I don't even know what that word means. You know, where would you rate yourself? Physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Right? Even if they're 10s, then what's 20? Right? Because again, this is always about growth. But oftentimes what we have is like, you know, a 5, a 7, a 3, a 10, and it's not balanced. We heard that come out of somebody before. The basic seminar is about creating more balance in your life and having more peace of mind, which is one thing I know that everybody is after. And it doesn't come from buying a new outfit, it doesn't come from buying a new car, it doesn't come from changing your job. Those things can help. What it comes from is from within. The basic seminar is about an inside job. It's not about what needs to change out here in order for me to be happy. It's about what can I shift in here in order for me to be happy. And that's what we work with for 3 days. 10 hours a day? 10 hours a day. There's breaks and someone's like, oh, 10 hours a day, there's no way. You'd be amazed at how quick this weekend goes. You'll be amazed. If I could just give you one sliver of how you would feel on Sunday night, there's not a person in the room that wouldn't be in the next class. But I'm not able to do that. All I can do is present the material to the best of my ability, and then you get to decide if it's something that you want to do. The next basic that we have is the next basic we have is February 27th from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., Sunday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and then we have a follow-up event the following Wednesday evening, similar to this, but it's bigger with more some coupons and graduation that goes along with it. It goes from 8 to 9:15, 7:30 is registration, and you might hang out for a little bit longer, so I put 7:30 to 9:30. We're actually right across the street at the SFO Marriott. I will say, I don't always say this, and the graduates, this is not like a sales technique, though there is a limited number of seats for the class. We're only going to take about 50 people, and that's simply due to the size of the room. We just went over, me and Luis just went over the other day, and we're like, this is not going to fit 80 people. Right, so, and I don't say that as again, it's not my sales technique, right? It's actually true, is that this class will fill up. The basic seminar is $595. We offer it to people on nights like this for $495 because we want you to register. It's as simple as that. We want you to sign up. You won't sign up because I say so. You won't sign up because I did a brilliant presentation. Okay? You'll sign up because there's something inside of you that wants more. You'll sign up for the class because you trust the person that asked you to be here. I know for me, in the basic presentation, this is not a class I wanted to go to. Most people don't, you know what, let's do a personal growth seminar this weekend. I've got nothing better to do. Right, let's go sit in a hotel room and pay some money and sit next to strangers and talk about our lives. That sounds awesome. Most people don't do that. But most people don't have what you want either. And so be willing to do something different. Be willing to do something that's outside of what's normal. Be willing to do something for yourself. This is a gift you give yourself. The basic seminar, again, it's $495. 2 things on that is that you can go to class as many times as you want for the rest of your life for free. So you remember what I said, there's no magic fairy dust? There's not any magic fairy dust. However, this class is yours for life. And you'll go back and take it more than once, and it'll be different every time you take it. Because there's different people in the class, because you're hearing it differently. You have different filters the second time you come through the basic seminar. So every time, so it's yours for life. You can come back 20 years from now if we're still here, which I think we will be. We've been here for 40 years. We have hundreds of thousands of graduates all over the world, really. So you can come back as many times as you want. Some people choose to come back every single class that we have for a year until they're like, okay, I think I got it a little bit. Okay. Some people go to the basic seminar and go directly to the next available advanced course that we have, and directly to the next available advanced course that we have because they want to take the bullet train to where they want to be. Right? It's up to you. This is a vehicle that you can use for the rest of your life. Okay? It's a vehicle that won't wear out. If it does, then you just bring it back to us and we'll just fix it right up. Right? My mechanic doesn't do that to my car. But if you look at yourself as a machine, this is the best tune-up you'll ever get. I kind of look at it like this. How many of you have a cell phone? Okay? How many of you are using the same cell phone that you used when you first got a cell phone?
Right here.
You have the same one? Let me see it. Let me see it.
20 years.
This is the same one?
Same one.
Dang!
I ain't got to upgrade either. Company phone.
It needs an upgrade.
It used to be a company phone, yeah.
That's the first time in like 2,800 presentations that I've ever had. Give me a mic. How would you do nothing?
That's what my brother said.
So you totally ruined my analogy. Okay. We don't use the same phone we use because they've upgraded our phone system. They've upgraded our plans, right? They've upgraded the wireless network. I'm really surprised it still works on the same, it's on Sprint.
It's on Sprint.
It's craziness. So you upgrade everything in your life, right? You upgrade your computer. When your thing comes on and says, oh, Firefox needs an upgrade, you click it, so it works better. Right? You upgrade your car, you upgrade your house, you upgrade your hair, you upgrade your clothes, you upgrade your job, you upgrade your husband or wife sometimes. Right? But we upgrade everything outside of ourselves. Right? We do that. Especially in this society. It's like, go have this, it'll make you happy. Go there, it'll make you happy. Go buy this, go buy that. Go buy 100 things and tchotchkes and things that'll make you. They don't ever make you happy. Okay? This is an internal upgrade. This is something that you can do for yourself to expand who you are and to get the things that you really want. So if there are things that you want in 2015, be willing to do something about it. If you're not able to go to this class, we have 7 classes every year in San Francisco. We have these classes all over the country. So if you want to go to Vegas or Hawaii and do a personal growth seminar, then we can do that. In between gambling and surfing. So again, go back to this list. If these things are important to you, spend $500. Spend a weekend. Invest in yourself. For me, I spent $500 on weekends that I will never remember. Okay? And I will remember, and I use the basic seminar every single day of my life. And I know that the graduates in the room do the same thing. So I'm going to finish with my piece. I want to say thank you so much for being here and being a fun audience to work with. I really, really, really hope that you jump into the class. I know that I do, but I also get paid to do this job. Okay, so of course I hope that you go to the class. Of course I'm going to invite you to the class. That's my job. Right? It's not the people's jobs that brought you here. They don't get paid for this. There's no gold star on their forehead. There's not even a free toaster. Right? So they brought you here because they thought that maybe this might be something that you might like to improve your life. So if you have a question?
Another question.
Yeah.
What if, like, I decide I'm not ready right now, and I decide to call somebody in a week or so? Is that possible? Is the number I can get a hold of someone?
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, just rushing off into it.
Yeah, if you want to think about it.
Yeah.
So here's something to think about. Okay? Oftentimes, what happens is people in this room will go, that sounds like a really great thing to do. Let me go think about it. But then what happens is that the automatic pilot kicks back in, and then it becomes something that sounds like a great thing to do.
You said a lot of people. I'm not a lot.
You're the one, Albert.
I've been having this school for 20 years.
Listen, you're
My
committed.
word is my bond.
You're committed. Right. So, if you want to save some money, definitely get yourself registered tonight. If you have more questions, concerns, or you're like, why the hell did you bring me here? Then ask your person who brought you here. They know you better than I do, right? They have a reason that they said that this might be something that you want to do. So be willing to ask the question, right? So why do you think I should do this class? Or if you have other questions about it, or what did you get, whatever it is, have a quick conversation with the person that's next to you. Okay? When you're ready to register, you can go back and see Louise. I'll be in the back of the room for other questions, and you can get yourself registered. Again, if you want to think about it, that's up to you too. right? I just say,
We don't have a number, I can get in touch with my brother.
no, we have no, there's no emails, this is the only time. and the only
Okay, so in other words,
After tonight,
you're gonna boot me
I'm
out,
gonna disappear.
That's
And
a boom, huh?
I won't be able to be found.
I guess I have to call Kathy.
Of course, there's numbers in
I know, I'm just giving you a bad time.
So just come check with us.
I'm just giving you a bad time.
It's gone, man.
Yeah, very good. All right, so give yourself a hand for being in tonight. Oh, one more thing, okay? This is a good one. I screwed this up in my last presentation, so I put it on my phone. It's my favorite, you know, Instagram and stuff, and sometimes it's just a bunch of stupid things, but then everyone's like every 500 things. That was awesome. This is my awesome. This is for you, Albert.
I can't get that on my.
This is for you. I know. This is for you. Tomorrow, a noun. A mystical land where 99% of all human productivity, motivation, and achievement is stored. Tomorrow, a mystical land where 99% of all human productivity, motivation, and achievement is stored. So don't wait till tomorrow. Have a great night.
All right. I didn't go point.